Okay, when most people think of Reno style, they think of single string picking, which basically is like guitar playing. And when I mention single string, what I'm talking about is you're you're picking your strings on individual strings, not just the roll, but you're you're hitting down with the thumb and up with the first finger. And what you're doing is you're simulating a flat pick on the guitar. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up, like that. And for some reason, like I said, most people think of Reno style as being single string, but single string is really just a small part of Don's playing. Don didn't really get into single string playing until the late 50s and early 60s. So if you have the Reno and Smiley box set from 51 to 59, there's no single string playing at all in there, and it's some of his best playing. So there's a lot more to the Reno style than just single string picking, but we're going to cover some of Don's most famous single string licks and some of his classic licks that he did over the years. And there's probably the most well known single string lick that Don did is the one he used in Follow the Leader. And to do this, basically what we're doing is we're going to be running through a D position, a D shape chord. It's the same shape as this, but we'll start here at the G position. It's the G chord. And remember, like I said, it's thumb down, first finger up. So like that. And all I'm doing is just like that. Alright, it's very simple. And this particular lick, this is a first part of the lick that he uses a lot. Okay, he uses that particular intro on a lot of single string licks that he does. And just practice that. That's really a good lick to get started with because it'll help you get that thumb down, first finger up. So like that. Okay, now I'm going to show you the second lick that Don uses in Follow the Leader, and it goes like this. Alright, and all I'm doing is I'm doing the same lick, and then I'm coming over here on the 7th fret, and then I'm coming to the 9th fret on the first string. I'm going back and forth on that. And I come back to the 8th fret on the 2nd string. Back to this position, basically, is what I'm doing. Okay. And that's the same lick that Don uses in Follow the Leader when he goes to C. Like that. Alright, and there's many variations that Don did using that particular lick. And I'll show you a few more. Okay, and that's a little different. Don used this particular lick in a version of Limehouse Blues with Bill Harrell that I heard him do. Now, he didn't do this one very often, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway, just to show you that you can hit other licks. So, okay, and that brings me to a good point of when you're trying to figure out a Don Reno tune or a Don Reno lick. Most of Don Reno's licks are within the chord, which I mean the notes that you're trying to figure out are usually in a chord position. Don thought about the banjo in chord positions and chord shapes, so most of his licks are in a chord or around the chord. So you don't need to jump all around, the neck trying to find different notes. If you find you know, the first part of it, the rest of it's probably right around that same chord, not far off. So I'll show you this lick again. Alright, and all I'm doing is almost the same lick that I just showed you, but instead I'm doing this. I'm coming over here on the 9th fret and hitting the 10th fret. And Don uses this particular lick in Limehouse Blues, like I said, during the A part. It's a pretty interesting sound to it. It's a little different than the other. Like that. And another version is okay, I'm sure you've probably heard that. Things like I wouldn't change it if I could. He did it in that. He did it in a lot of backup stuff, so I'll show you that one. Comes over here and hits the 7th or the 10th fret back to the 9th. And he walks straight up to that 9th fret on the 1st string. And he's just walking back up that D position chord. It's a G, but it's a D position. Like that. And another version of this particular lick is one he uses in a tune called Everglades. And it came out on a 45. You may be able to find it on some reissue albums, but it goes like this. And he would use this lick running through a C chord, so I'll play it slow for you. And what's real important about these two licks is the timing. You have to pause a little bit. So that little pause on that note on the 9th fret. Okay. So try those licks out. That's some of Don's real common licks that he used in his backup and in his playing. Now another one that Don uses, and this is going to be played out of an F position, is like this. Alright, and what I'm doing, I'm starting out here on the 3rd fret on the 1st string, and all I'm doing is I'm walking up through the chord, just flatting notes, coming over here to the 5th fret on the 1st string, on the 5th fret on the 2nd string, I can't hit the string open because that's a G position we're using, but you can use this anywhere on the neck out of an F position. As with the ones I just showed you, you can use those anywhere on the neck out of a D position. So don't be afraid to try to move these to different places. I'll show you that again slow. I come back to the 7th note. Second string, up to the 3rd string on the 5th fret, to the 3rd fret, to the 4th fret, and up to the 4th string on the 5th fret. Don used that one a lot, and here's another version of it where he's walking into a C chord. Like that. So when I hit that 4th string on the 5th fret, I'm just going to walk it down to this 7th note on the 3rd fret. Okay. Now Don used this particular lick a lot. Limehouse Blues, Follow the Leader, all of these tunes he used it in. So you can use that to go to a 7th note to go into the next chord. So now I'll show you another thing about this particular lick, or actually any of these licks you can do this on. But this one sticks out in my mind because I've heard him do it on Follow the Leader and a whole bunch of other tunes. If you do it out of this F position in D, or it doesn't matter, but we're going to use this D chord here. You can hit open notes in between your single string notes. Just because you're way up the neck doesn't mean you can't hit the strings open. You can hit the strings open when you're playing fast through a single string lick, because it's so fast that it's kind of clipped and you'll never hear it. You see? Of course, when I hit the D string open, you know, it harmonizes with the D chord, but if you're in C, you know, you can do it in F, anywhere there's a F position. Like that. So don't be afraid to experiment with these licks, and you'll never know what you may find. It adds a lot to it when you do things like that, because it puts a little hop in there. Alright. Another version that Don did on here, using that same lick, like that, he would come back on the other strings. Instead of coming down on the basses, he would do this. Alright, and play that for you slow. So he uses that first lick like that to the bass, to the 4th string. And then he comes back on the 3rd fret to the 4th on the 3rd string, like that. And then to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, to the 5th on the 2nd string, and back to the, actually it goes to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and to the 4th fret on the 3rd string. Like that. And again, you can do that any F position. See how that goes together? So combine these licks like that, you can work up whole breaks like that. And that's what Don did on a lot of his tunes. He just put all these runs together and ran through the chords. So things like that. Okay, I'll show you another lick here that Don used a lot, and it goes like this. Okay. And typically he would use this on the end of a tune when you're coming out of D or something. So I'm coming over here on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. No, it's the 2nd string on the 3rd fret, I'm sorry. Started on the 2nd string, or the 2nd string on the 3rd fret. Coming over and hitting the 5th fret on the 2nd string. Like that. Coming up on the 5th fret on the 3rd string. To the 4th fret. Like that. Then I'm going to hit the string open 2nd fret on the 3rd string, then the 4th fret on the 3rd string. 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 4th fret on the 3rd string. You had to forgive me. It's hard for me to slow these things down, so let's see, like that. And like I said, if I'm doing this too fast for you, be sure to check the tab that comes in the workshop so you can get the notes right. Now another version of this particular lick, this is playing out of the F position, where we're going to play the same thing out of the D position up here. Like that. So all I'm doing is starting on the 7th fret on the 3rd string. It's the same thing as the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. See, it's the same thing. So coming over and hitting the 9th fret, 7th to 9th, up to the 10th to the 9th on the 4th string.